Am I the asshole for not allowing my husband to be the entire neighborhood's husband? I have a weird situation. It's become very clear that my husband is the only man on our street. The rest of the houses are entirely women. There's a few single mother houses, 2 houses of all-female roommates, 1 single woman, and even a lesbian couple. I normally wouldn't care or even take note of this, but since March, it's like we're getting constant calls and texts. The number we gave when we moved in 2 years ago, just renewed last January, was my number. I am flooded with requests for basic handyman stuff like changing light bulbs, car problems, and dealing with toilets. He has helped people around the neighborhood before because he is a nice guy, and we are from a culture that assumes that men need to help out women if they can, even if they're not related. But with me being furloughed, he's the only one working and is less interested in extra stuff, but the tasks do only take about 5 to 20 minutes on average, which I know because my husband makes me go with him because they make him uncomfortable. Even more gross than that is that these women are obsessed with him on a personal level. They openly flirt with him and literally offer themselves up if he's ever tired of me or wants something different. I have even gotten pictures of boobs from neighbors. While I love my husband and am attracted to him, he's not like a male model or anything, so I really don't understand why these women are fawning over him like this. One of the single moms has even asked him to come over and discipline one of her children, which is an absolute nope. He's not comfortable with any of this and has asked me to intervene. I've tried talking to these women more casually to no avail. I set up a Zoom for Justice Ladies to try to get us on the same page. They told me that since it's now impossible for any of them to find anyone anymore 2020, I needed to share my husband and be less selfish in regards to household maintenance requests. It's not even safe to call for maintenance, and I shouldn't ask them to when there's a safe alternative where they don't have to risk exposure. They also said that it was just harmless flirting because they're all frustrated and can't date, and that I wouldn't even be threatened by it if I was giving him kids. I've talked to my own family about this, and while they say that the women should be less forward, I should be more understanding about how hard it is for a woman to be alone because my own mother was alone. Am I the asshole for not just dealing with it? I'm substituting frustrated for the word that was actually used to make this slightly more family-friendly. Not the asshole. These grown women should learn how to complete basic home maintenance themselves. Start sending YouTube videos to them instead of your husband.
Not the asshole. But your husband is also way out of line. He's not comfortable with any of this and has asked me to intervene. I've tried talking to these women more casually to no avail. I set up a Zoom for Justice Ladies to try to get us on the same page. How did this suddenly become your job? Why are you setting up a Zoom call for all these women? Why are you filtering their messages and answering their calls? No wonder these women don't stop doing what they're doing if it's you who tells them to stop and not your husband. He really needs to stand up for himself and say no to these women.
Not the asshole. You both need to start telling them no. You don't need to get them to agree that they're out of line, you just have to say, sorry, can't help. Or, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, could you show up to help? None of things they need help with requires a penis to do. Not the asshole at all. He's not comfortable, you're not comfortable, they're too comfortable. Either they stop doing all this or you can stop giving them visits. You can pay them the favor by flirting with their guys, if they can get any with this attitude.
Not the asshole. They should get their own husbands.
Not the asshole for the prompt, but you are the asshole for saying this shit. While I love my husband and am attracted to him, he's not like a male model or anything, so I really don't understand why these women are fawning over him like this. How do you feel if your husband said you're attractive but not that attractive?
Not the asshole. If they aren't able to maintain their homes, they should move to an apartment with an on-site handyman. Neither you nor your husband are comfortable with their requests, and you are a more agreeable woman than I am for putting up with the disrespectful violations of flirting and sending nudes to what they thought was your husband's phone. I get trying to be a good neighbor and all, but they are walking all over you both and completely disrespecting your marriage with their jokes. Those aren't jokes coming from the ones who sent nudes.
Not the asshole, and good for you sticking up for your husband since it makes him uncomfortable. I would draw a firmer line saying that he is too busy. Also, I would find a local handyman and share that number with all of them, and anytime you get a text for work. Sorry, he is busy, but this guy can help, add number.
Another post better suited to off-micist. No one thinks you're an asshole. Go post somewhere else if you're just ranting.
You are the asshole. This seems incredibly fake. Edit. Change to you are the asshole for making up bullshit.
This is wildly fake. A whole neighborhood of horny, predatory women who are also entirely helpless. A lesbian couple who can't do their own home repairs and ask a random man to do them. Women sending nudes to the wife in the hope they'll pass them on to the husband. You are the asshole for making me read this shitty porn fantasy.
Not the asshole, their behavior is beyond outrageous. Tell them your husband has closed up shop permanently.
Can you imagine if the sexes were reversed and the only woman on the block was being asked to stop by all the horny male neighbors' houses to make them lunch, do some dishes and tidy up the place?
Not the asshole. It sounds like you live in a bizarro neighborhood. Tell your neighbors to go on Tinder. They can find all the men they want. Your husband needs to tell them no more personally. It will mean more coming from him. Harmless flirting by getting boob texts? Edit, grammar. Not the asshole. But your husband really needs to learn to tell them off himself. When someone treats him badly, he should say, "No, I am not going to come over anymore." Also, none of this bullshit of "I should be more understanding about how hard it is for a woman to be alone." It is 2020. Men are not genetically more disposed to understand how a drain works or how to wire a socket. We had to learn too, mostly by trial and error. These days everything is up on YouTube.
Either OP has a very skewed perspective of this situation, or this is fake. How can there be an entire street of single women? Is this a military base? I can totally buy a next-door neighbor trying to steal away the husband, but for all of them to be doing this makes no sense, especially if they are all from different households. Makes it sound like they are all a conspiring cult. Women aren't crazed dependents that require a man to change a light bulb.
For fuck's sake, this is ridiculous. You are the asshole just for posting this.
What in the actual fuck? How can anyone justify this behavior? Not the asshole. First off, changing a light bulb is the easiest, handyman, task ever, so that's just an excuse to have your husband over and sexually harass him. The fact that these women, and I'm honestly astounded that it's multiple women, think you need to share your husband is mind-blowing. I'd block all of their numbers. Problem solved. It's amazing to me that they are so concerned about exposure when I'm sure they go to the grocery store every week. Once again, it's just an accuse. They will be fine, and if they are really lonely, they can buy a sex toy off Amazon.
Lol, if this is real then of course not the asshole. I'll take shit that never happened for $500 please Alex.
Not the asshole. So if you moved in 2 years ago, how did these women survive before you guys moved in? They're being absolutely ridiculous. Changing a light bulb? Really? Your husband needs to tell them no. Just say no and stop talking to them.
Why can't your husband just say no? ETA, like, these women are wrong and you're not the asshole, but like, why do you need to intervene subtly? Just have him say, "No, sorry, I don't have time for this." They'll get the hint. If women are sending pictures of their boobs, I think he's within his rights to even just say, "You make me comfortable and I won't be doing this anymore," and just not answer these people.
NTA. Those women are way out of line. Your husband is under no obligation to help them. Change your number and tell your husband to do helping them.
You are the asshole, your husband their rules.
Not the asshole, they're being huge weirdos.
Not the asshole. Why would you let your husband help them if it makes both of you uncomfortable? Just be like, "Neither me nor my husband like how you treat us, so you can do your petty chores on your own. They don't pay you, so IDK why you would tolerate sexual harassment and their shit attitudes. They don't give a shit about your relationship. They are just acting selfishly and justifying their actions after the fact."
This is fake as fuck.
Seriously, not the asshole, but TBH, you should grow a bit of backbone. Your husband has clearly said and displayed how uncomfortable he is, yet you're still not putting your foot down to these women. Be firm with them, not casual. Tell them point blank that both you and your husband aren't comfortable with all of their advances and requests. You don't even need to explain why. Remember that "no" is a full sentence and you owe them nothing. Ps, I'm only saying you should do it because it's your number. If both you and your husband could just directly tell them off, that would be better. It shows them you're a team and that both of you can stand your grounds.
I was expecting to read something more not safe for work with a neighborhood harem, but this situation is still very unfortunate and uncomfortable. Your husband is not comfortable with any of this, and the neighbors are giving you extremely inappropriate and rude responses, so things are simple: he should stop doing handiwork in the neighborhood in general. You will get some backlash, but eventually you will get your peace of mind back. Not the asshole. No is a complete sentence.
Obvious not the asshole, but you're almost veering into ESH territory, you and the other women, that is, your husband asked for your help and you are not helping him. Why is it so hard to say no? They're overstepping almost all boundaries that exist. Hey, we're already stretched thin and everyone in the neighborhood has really been abusing my husband's goodwill. We're closed for business in the help department. Sorry all.
In France we have a website called Allo Voisin, i.e. Call Neighbor, where you can request help, paid or not, for any needs, moving stuff, assembly, garden work. You should check if something similar exists in your area and let them know about it.
This can't possibly be true. You are the asshole for posting an obviously fake weird fetish story. The mods are really the asshole for allowing this trend to continue to ruin the sub.
Any available real estate in your neck of the woods? Info. What culture is this that they value an average handy guy so highly? Asking for a friend.
This reads like the intro to a literotica story.
WTF? EU. Your neighbors are gross. Please make sure one of them don't sexually assault your husband at some point. Please make sure you go with him whenever, If your husband is not comfortable with doing tasks in certain people's houses, just straight up tell them no. If they push you in a public scenario, tell them openly in front of people why your H is uncomfortable. W them. This is significant other weird BEYOBD belief. Not the asshole.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I set up a Zoom for Justice ladies to try to get us on the same page. They told me that since it's now impossible for any of them to find anyone anymore, 2020, I needed to share my husband and be less selfish. They also said that it was just harmless flirting, because they're all frustrated and can't date, and that I wouldn't even be threatened by it if I was giving him kids. At first I was skeptical. Your husband is the only male. But thought it's at least plausible. But then you had to go off the FF deep end. I call BS.
This has to be embellished quite a bit. If not the asshole.
Not the asshole set clear boundaries, and if they are abuse this, then go low, no contact. Your neighbors are adults who should be able to manage their own lives and maintenance issues. It's so insulting to your marriage and hugely sexist that they insist on your husband helping them out and flirting so blatantly in front of you. Especially as it goes to the point of your and your husband's discomfort. It's not safe for them to call a maintenance person, but it's okay for them to put themselves and your family at risk by calling your husband?
Not the asshole. And please share this location ASAP as possible.
Even your own husband is uncomfortable with the situation. Absolutely not the asshole, and you neighbors need to back the FCK off and stop harassing your husband. They sound awful. You've been nice, and tried to approach the subject delicately. They don't want to hear it and have even gone so far as to bring whether or not you have kids into the equation. Go the hell off on these bimbos and tell them all to get bent, or at least get their own damn man, cause your husband isn't a shareable commodity. He's your man, damn it, and he planned to keep it that way.
Not the asshole. Is there any houses for sale in your neighborhood by any chance?
Not the asshole. What sexist bullshit to believe women can't change their own light bulbs and plunge their own toilets. Did the husband write this?
Fake. A masturbating man wrote this.
Knew this was fake the moment a lesbian couple was included asking help from a man. Source: I'm lesbian.